Hey there, y'all. Time for the latest vinyl and CD finds once again. Today, most of these come courtesy of a sale over at GirderMusic.com. We'll take a look at those, including this little gem right here, which I'm sure you saw in the thumbnail. Also, I got a couple just kind of stray eBay pickups we'll look at too. It's all coming right up. Stay where you are. Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to another Tim Talks Christian Rock. Tim Ristow here. Hope you're doing awesome today, and may God bless your day going forward from here. Thank you so much for choosing to make this video a part of your day today. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Today we're going to have some fun looking at some of the latest vinyl and CD finds that I've picked up. As I mentioned in the teaser at the beginning, Girder Records, GirderMusic.com, has had some great sales. They frequently have some awesome sales, as does Rock's Records and Boone's Overstock, but Girder had one recently that I partook of, and we'll take a look at some of the items I picked up from there. Everything that I show today from the Girder pickup, the items were $10. No, they were all under $10, except for that Bloodgood vinyl, which was just under $35. And we'll look at that first, since that's kind of the big ticket item. And we'll take a look at that in a little bit of detail. It's kind of a cool pickup, and I'm really excited about that one. So we'll talk about that first, and then we'll get into at least one more vinyl, and I think the rest are all CDs. So we'll have some fun looking at all that. However, before we get to that, let me note something here real quick. Just got a delivery here at my doorstep not too long ago. Wanted to make a note of these. This one here I think is a Older Bride CD that I got off of eBay. So if we have time in this video, if this video is not running too long, I may open this and include that in this video here. But then the other package here is from Girder, and this is actually a couple Petra vinyls, new vinyls released through Girder. One of them is the Washes Wider Than vinyl that was just released, and then also the Petra, I think the Best for Last Studio Edition on vinyl. Both of those I picked up. So they won't be in this video, but just to let y'all know, those will be coming in another video, possibly tomorrow. Okay, so here is the Bloodgood vinyl that I got from Girder Music. Again, we'll look at the listing here in just a sec, but this is the 1986 debut album by Bloodgood on Frontline Records, an original edition, autographed by their first drummer, J.T. Taylor. There's the front, there's the back. We'll look at this again more in just a second, but let's hop on over quick to Girder Music and take a look at this listing. As it says here, Bloodgood autographed by drummer J.T. Taylor. The price listed here is $99, originally on sale for $34.48. As it says here, there are only 9 of these autographed, as you can tell by the picture here. They were autographed by J.T. Taylor. They are new, just opened, original pressings of the 1986 Bloodgood debut album, and come with the original vinyl record and 2-sided printed lyric insert. The covers vary in condition, as one or two have a corner bends. I think have bent corners. But JT just opened them earlier today, and this was March 26, 2021, to sign them. So they are untouched, mint condition vinyl and super high glossy front factory fresh covers. Some of the jackets are in better shape than the others, as some have corner bends and a few with seam splits. Some of the vinyl is not flat and may come a bit warped. These are for displaying and not playing. Okay, so why did I bother to take the time to read that listing and cover all that in advance? Number one, because I want to give Girder Records credit for being so transparent with the condition of the album that you're going to get. I respect that a great deal. I've purchased from places before where they have not done so. They've maybe buried the condition of something way down at the bottom of a long scroll down screen to try to kind of hide it, or to not be really truthful in how they write their descriptions of the condition of an item. So I really want to give props and credit to Girder for having been transparent about it. They're not trying to hide anything about it. So that is very much appreciated. Second, the vinyl I got is in phenomenally great shape. They mentioned, of course, some corner bends on some of these. I have a little bit here, maybe a few little bends on the cover there. Otherwise, this is in phenomenally great condition. Added to that, I guess I could mention there's a little bit of a smudge there on the JT signature from the marker. Big deal. That happens. It's not a big deal. It's still a very clear signature, so I love it. It's fantastic. The vinyl, which again, this is an original Frontline from '86, is a black vinyl and is in really, really good shape. I've played this all the way through. No issues whatsoever. It maybe is a little warped. You can kind of see on edge a little bit. There may be a little warping on it. I don't know if you can really tell here, but slight warping I noticed when I took it out, perhaps ever so slightly. But when I played this through, there was no problems whatsoever. It played flawlessly. It's included the insert, which is folded here. I think that may have just gotten folded when it got put back in, or possibly in the manufacturer stage it was folded. I don't think it was originally supposed to be folded. I think it's supposed to be flat, but not really sure. But you do get the insert with the lyrics on this side, the band, and some credits on that side. So very cool to have the original insert. So I just got to give props where props are due. A credit to Girder for making this available. Number one, being able to get JT to sign 9 copies of these editions and make them available. And for now at a reasonable price. I think $35 is a reasonable price. I found a original copy of Bloodgood's album several years ago at a Half Price Books here in the area, and it was $25. And I passed that one up. Kind of always regretted it after that. I was like, I probably should have picked that one up. But now finding this for just under $35, signed by JT, I'm much happier, glad that I waited. So if you're on the fence at all about this particular listing on Girder for these autographed copies by JT Taylor of Bloodgood's debut album, I'd encourage you to do so, to go ahead and jump off and purchase it. Again, yours may not arrive in as good a shape as mine. The listing's very clear about some have been at corners, some have warped copies. But just in general, having a nice autographed copy of the album, autographed by JT Taylor, is really a very cool thing. So something you might want to consider, and you never know how your copy will show up. It could very well be playable as well. So I'm very pleased with this. I think it's a cool item. Kudos to Girder for making this available. All right, I better get things moving along here. We still got a lot to cover. Sorry I spent so much time on the Bloodgood vinyl, but it is a very cool edition. So the only other vinyl I picked up from the Girder sale was this still sealed copy of Prodigal's self-titled debut album, Prodigal, from 1982. Now, any of you who are fans of the channel know that I'm a big fan of Prodigal. Thanks to Kent and Rex over at Area 312 Rock and Metal Vodcast, they gave me an opportunity to guest host with them when they interviewed 2 of the guys from Prodigal, Dave Workman and Rick Fields. It was a joy and kind of an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to talk with them and interview them. Had a blast doing that. I've also got a review out of their Electric Eye album, which followed this album, and I've got a video out about every vinyl, cassette, and CD ever released by Prodigal. Check that out. Now, in that video, I talk about this debut album, of which I have a copy of this already. I have the original first pressing, which I think the label code on that is something like HRC 101 or something to that effect. But they also have a reissue of this debut album out on vinyl, which I did not have until I got this. I wasn't for sure whether this would be the reissue, but as it turns out, it is. How do I know? Thanks to a code on the spine up here. I don't know if you can see that code right there, but the code here is not HRC 101, it is WU38647, which is the code, according to Discogs, of the reissue of this album. So now, thanks to Girder again, I have a sealed copy of the reissue of their debut album. This was only $6.77, so it was a steal of a deal, and I absolutely love having it. And now adds another element to my collection that I didn't have. So this is very, very cool. Haven't opened it yet. Probably won't. I don't know. I might go ahead and open it. But just really excited to have this. There is a little bit of a punch here in the barcode. It's not through the plastic, though, so I'm not sure how that happened or how they do that. But everything else about it looks fine. I probably will open it up to make sure the vinyl's in good shape. But just very excited to have this. This is another kind of completion of a collection, I guess you could say, to get this reissue of Prodigal's debut album on vinyl. So very cool. As far as I know, they still have copies available for $6.77 there. on Girder's website. So if you're interested in picking one up, now's a great time to do so. All right, let's move on to CDs. A while back, Girder had offered long box versions of both Deliverance's Weapons of Our Warfare here and Bride's Snakes in the Playground, which basically is the CD in a long box. Of course, these were designed originally back in the day to be used in the vinyl holders in record stores when records were starting to phase out and CDs were coming in. They came up with this idea of a long box, which is the same height as a vinyl record, but narrow enough to where you could fit two side by side in a vinyl storage holder there in the store. So the stores didn't have to buy brand new holders for CDs. They could keep using their vinyl ones and just put them side by side. So that was the concept behind them, the idea behind them back in the day. Girder put out a couple of these, again, Deliverance and Bride, to kind of capitalize on that fun retro idea. So I'd already picked up this copy here of Deliverance's Weapons of Our Warfare. Includes the CD here in the bottom, and then it's empty up top. But you also got the CD with a art card or photo card with it too. So I'd picked one of these up already back when they first came out. Love it. I'd also picked up one for Bride, too, Snakes in the Playground. And then they had sales on these long boxes, and they've had them routinely. So I actually now have 3 of the Bride long boxes, 1 opened, 2 sealed. And this time they again had sales, this time on the Deliverance one. This was, I think, maybe $6.77 too, or something like that. It was very inexpensive. And I wasn't planning on it, but when I saw the cheap price, I was like, well, I'll pick up another one of Deliverance too. I got 3 of the Bride. We might as well have a couple of the Deliverance ones. This one I'm keeping sealed for now. But again, just kind of a cool concept. I like this retro idea, frankly. I don't know if they're selling really well or not, to where they're marking them down quite a bit to try and move them, or what the deal is. But I really like this because I remember the day when I went into record stores and you saw these long boxes were much more common. So anyway, now I got a couple of those on hand as well. Okay, I got 4 more CDs from the Girder order we'll go over real quick. None of these are open, so I apologize for that. I just got the order in the other day. Haven't opened up or listened to any of these, but I'll at least show you what I picked up. Again, these were all under $10. First one was Human Code Break the Silence, the deluxe edition of their CD of this album. A great album. I've listened to it digitally a lot. It's phenomenal. It's really good. Needed to pick up a CD copy, and I figured I'd get the deluxe one. And this was, I think, $9.77, I think was the price on this one. So really cool to have it. This deluxe edition, I think, has an art card with it. It's got the O-ring. It's got an art card with it, and it has a extra track here, Rain, the Add Water version on here too. So I think that's an alternate of track 3 on here, Rain. So very glad to finally have this. I would like to get vinyls of Human Code album too. They have a blue vinyl edition out and a red vinyl edition at some point. I will probably pick those up as well. But great band, great album. Also, Retroactive had re-released 2 of the volumes from the Intense Records live volume series. A while back, I guess they released this. This was last year. Here's the Die Happy one. Again, recorded live. Volume 4, Intense Records presents part of their Metal Icon series at Retroactive. They had released the Deliverance live recording in this series, which I think was Volume 2, if I remember correctly. And then Die Happy, which is Volume 4. So there's 2 others. I don't know if they'll release them or not. I can't remember what they were off the top of my head. But anyway, there were 2 others that we'll see if they reissue those. These were reissued on both vinyl and CD. I have the vinyl and CD of the Deliverance one, but I hadn't picked up the Die Happy ones yet. So now I've at least got the CD. Maybe I'll track down the vinyl yet. We'll see. But glad to have this one as well. Okay, next up is a solo album from Amy Wolter, who was with the band Fighter back in the day. This was her solo album, originally released back in 1994. This reissue from the Legends of Rock series with Girder Records was issued in 2019, or reissued in 2019. So familiar with Fighter, familiar with Amy's name, but had never heard the solo album. So this is one I thought I'd pick up, give it a listen. I assume there's probably some Fighter similarities in here, but looking forward to getting familiar with this album as well. She's a great artist, and was a pretty cool part of the band Fighter. So anyway, got that one. All right, last but not least from my Girder order anyway is this Steve Scott Retrospective CD. This one I think was only $4.74 or something like that. Steve Scott was an artist back in the 80s and 90s, I guess. One of his most famous or well-known songs is from the album Love in the Western World, the title track. One that I remember listening to a lot on Christian radio back in, I guess it was the 80s that album came out. So this is kind of a retrospective of his albums and music, and it includes Love in the Western World on here, along with a bunch of others. Different Kind of Light, Emotional Tourist, Ghost Train, Not a Pretty Picture, Sound of Waves, Shadow Play, number of great tracks on here. So I thought, I do like his stuff. I found a copy of Love in the Western World on vinyl a while back that I do have in my collection, but I thought this would be neat to have some of his other music as well. So again, $4.74. Can't beat that. All right, and finally just a couple of eBay random pickups that I found. First one here is Poor Old Lou Mind Size, which this was kind of an alternative band from 1993. Got a really unique sound. I used to have more of their albums back in the day, but lost them in a house fire many years ago. So saw them mentioned on a board somewhere recently, and I thought, it's time to pick one up. Found this one on eBay at a really good price. I thought I'll pick it up while I can still find them inexpensively. I think they're now long out of print. And finally, last but not least, is this DVD that I picked up on eBay. I mentioned in another video recently talking about the reissues of the Live at Cornerstone 2001 vinyl releases and CD releases that have been put out with Bride, Deliverance, and Sacred Warrior. That I had a couple original copies in this Live at Cornerstone series on CD. I had the Bride one and I had the Daniel Band one. But that I was also interested in tracking down the DVD of the videos from that those concerts. And so I went and found one at a good price. So I thought I'd pick this up. And glad to have it. Not super high-end recording. I've looked at probably the first 4 or 5 songs so far. A lot of it's just a single camera at the back shooting the stage. Hard to see what's on stage, but maybe some of them get a little bit better as it goes along. But still kind of cool to have anyway. But this does have 3 tracks. What does it say here? DVD of all the shows, 3 songs from each band except Deliverance. So Deliverance is not on here, but it does have Bride. Is it Recon or Recon? Recon. I don't know which it is for sure. Sacred Warrior, Daniel Band, Triton, and Guardian. So again, kind of cool to finally have a copy of this. There's the DVD itself. Very simple printing, probably a DVD-R, I guess. But anyway, neat to have. There are some copies of this available on eBay if you're looking to pick one up. So fun to have. All right, y'all, there you go. That's all I got for today in my latest vinyl and CDs find. Hopefully you saw something of interest today. If you got any favorites, let me know in the comments down below. If any of these albums in particular have touched you or resonated with you, let me know down below. I'm sorry we didn't have a chance to peek into the CDs, that they were still sealed. I usually try and have them opened up before I do the videos so that we can take a peek inside. Just didn't have a chance to do that for this one, so just was showing off some of those, but did want to go into depth about that Bloodgood vinyl, which I think is pretty cool. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Go out and listen to some great Christian rock, but remember, above all else, stay in God's Word. See you next time, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.